I like to watch something, but nothing like Elf or Polar Express. I want something with uniqueness, action. Oh. Okay.
Christmas is nearly upon us, and so is the end of 2025. A very popular holiday, of course. Getting a Christmas tree, decorating it, gathering with the family, drinking some eggnog, and of course, watching a Christmas movie. Maybe even playing a game. However, I am not interested in playing a game right now, so I guess we'll go with a movie. But not just any movie. I would like some good action. Something with explosions. Something epic. Die Hard.
Oh yeah, look at that. So Die Hard. Yes, Die Hard. This is like one of the first action movies I've ever saw in general. And yeah, I do really remember it. But it's been some time since I watched it, so yeah, I'm not gonna do like what I'm gonna do like in a future video for My Little Pony Best Gift Ever. I know it's a weird movie to bring up, but yeah, that one's gonna be basically, I guess, a meandering. This one should be just a regular review, so I'll go over a lot more history with this movie and stuff, and what I like about it, so there's that.
Alright, let's take a look at the Blu-ray case. Of course, we got the titular character, John McClane, holding this iconic Beretta 92F. I've always wanted a 92, some type of 92. I'll probably just settle with a 92FS, but man, a 92F will be nice. And then we also have, of course, Fox Tower, or, if you know this movie, Nakatomi Tower. Now, the tower itself is real, however, it's called the Fox Tower, IRL. Then we got this plastered over explosion. I mean, I know what it represents, but it just doesn't look the best. And then, of course, we got those helicopters. Just like Saigon. In the back, of course, we got video auto specs, flavor text of the movie, and yeah, that's basically it.
Alright, yeah, I think that's literally it about the case, so I guess I'll try to talk about the movie. I'll try to be really prompt because I have another video coming out that I want to release on Christmas. This video I want to release on Christmas Eve. And yeah, the video I'm doing is My Little Pony Best Gift Ever. I know it's a bit childish, but I like that one. Well, I haven't seen it before, but I do like it after watching it. And yeah, and that one's already like 30 plus minutes, so I'll try to be prompt with this, for real.
Directed by John McTiernan, who has made some pretty good movies. He hasn't been in the directing role of any movie since 2003, but he did direct a commercial in 2017, Ghost Recon Wildlands of all games, and starring Bruce Willis, Alan Rickman, Bonnie Bedelia, and Reginald VelJohnson. It was released in 1988, and of course was rated R.
No, goddammit, no!
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. Jesus, I could gush about anything in this movie, but I think I'll go with the script first. I mean, what can I say? The script is just tight, condensed, and it doesn't waste your time. It's prompt. Literally. Not even in the 20th minute. I think it was around the 19th minute mark. You get to know about the McClanes and their rocky marriage.
Did this in July.
We never finished this conversation.
The terrorist plot.
Then back to Worthy, right? 2 points.
Even see how John McClane's character is, how he interacts with other people.
It's okay, I'm a cop. Nice beer. Okay.
His surroundings.
Cute toy.
And the fact that he's a New Yorker and opposite side of America.
California.
Balance between the action and lowdown times are pretty balanced in my opinion. It doesn't overstay its welcome, it doesn't become too awkward, it's just right. Little Red Riding Hood type stuff.
Even before the 30th minute mark, you will know about the terrorists' true intentions, but I won't talk about that until I talk about the story. Overall, just sublime pacing. And the one-liners. You know I'm a fucking sucker for one-liners. All epic, all badass. Doesn't feel forced.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
And what's the dialogue without the actors, the characters? They just pulled off so well their lines. The main chads themselves. We'll go with the protag first. John McClane. Of course, you know him, Bruce Willis. Back when he still had hair and back when he was acting. Yes, he retired in 2022 from acting. Nonetheless, John McClane's character is a badass but more relatable than, let's say, Rambo or anyone from Predator. The only thing that is different between us and him, he just has a copper badge. More likely completed police academy, of course. Other than that, he ain't no super soldier. Shows a lot of vulnerabilities. Like when he bleeds, he does patch up his injuries and stuff.
And he definitely is a flawed man, as you can tell from the beginning. Still a badass though. More than likely will be one of the hostages, but it's still nice to think about. Nonetheless, it'll still be nice to think about us being the badass, rescuing someone at least in our lives. Equally as much, people want to be a villain, and Hans Gruber definitely lives up to that title. Alan Rickman definitely did his part really well. Die Hard was apparently his debut film, so he did his thing, and it came out sensational. Always calculated, calm, precise, and he really does sound elegant too.
They're ordering the others to cut the building's power. Regular as clockwork.
With that composure and calculation, he truly does come off as intimidating. Good for future roles, I bet.
May God rest his soul.
With both Gruber and McClane essentially going in a cat and mouse game trying to get each other, it truly brings some spice to this movie. And then you get to hit the spices, the side characters. For example, Sergeant Al Powell, of course being played by Reginald VelJohnson. Keeping in touch with McClane for the most part, he brings some heart and humanity, mainly giving out what's happening on the ground, relaying messages and stuff, but even getting a bit chuddy with McClane. Homie definitely deserves a beer after this. Even Argyle, even though he didn't really do much until the end of the movie, he's still very chill, and like he was just there, very oblivious to what the hell was happening until like so near the end basically. A pretty funny character all around, even though we barely see him, but Devorao, however pronounce his first name, White, did what he could with him and he did nice.
On the terrorist side, I want to talk about the Versky brothers.
I'll start off with Tony Versky because he is the first man to die, or first of the terrorists to die, but his death really impacts his older brother, Carl Versky. Carl, played by Alexander Gondunov, is a very calculating, patient man, one can say, at least before his bro's death. However, when McClane takes Tony out and, disses the terrorists, Carl basically starts losing his shit. His mind degrading from cold and calculated to wild and rampant because of his need for revenge, basically. And then I think the only other guy I'll talk about will be Theo, the hacker that tasked to break into the vault. He's a pretty fun character to watch, even though he's sitting pretty at the vault and stuff for most of the film. And he has a dark sense of humor which resonates with me, cause,
Oh my god, the quarterback is toast!
There's a lot more side characters, but just trust me, they all fit the roles perfectly. Just like the music in this movie. Michael Kamen is the music composer of this movie, and he scored for Lethal Weapon, Highlander, and Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. For this movie, it does have a lot of intensity and some good wit.
8:30, go ahead.
Yeah, that's a wild goose chase over here at Nakatomi Plaza. Everything here's okay. Over. But nobody has no place to go. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.
And I do like the fact that there's a fair amount of sleigh bells, or Christmas sleigh bells I guess one can say, incorporated in the action sequences.
With this one being my favorite.
So you take this under advisement, jerkweed. Geronimo, motherfucker.
Great build-up, great pause, and great payoff. Overall perfect. Now yes, there is licensed Christmas music, though it's just 2 tracks. Literally 1 rap track in the beginning, and then near the end, a classic. Or at least a cover of a classic.
It snows when we finally kiss goodnight.
I mean, yeah, one can ask for a little bit more licensed Christmas music, but I think this is fine. The main protag and antag theme song / motifs, whatever you want to call it, are pretty cool too. The guitar really sending on those cowboy-esque vibes, and even in the movie, Gruber refers to John as a cowboy, or at least a wannabe cowboy. Now contrast that to Alan Gruber's theme song, Ode to Joy, Beethoven Symphony No. 9. Well, there's 2 versions of it. There's the OG Ode to Joy, of course made by Beethoven, and then there's Michael Kamen's version, which I think is just called The Vault. All in all, very, very epic, and goddamn it fits Christmas. Now, I think the only other thing that I can praise / have some mixed feelings on are the practical effects. The explosions, sensational. The gun sound effects, pretty nice. The ricochets, like the bullets ricocheting and stuff, I mean, it feels dated for sure, but it's still pretty nice. I don't really mind it that much. It does feel dated. And I guess another quibble that one can say, well, I didn't have it, but some people might have it, is that it might be a little too fast, because, like I said, in my opinion, it's perfectly paced, but it doesn't really slow down. Some people might like, some people might not. I don't know. I think it's alright. I'll just say it's perfect, in my opinion. Maybe not for you, but it's just a possibility that you might not like it. I think the last thing I'll truly talk about is Nakatomi Tower. For the most part, it's just like a tall building that all characters have to navigate through. McClane has to use every inch of the building, from the ducts to the elevator shafts, whatever else to, maneuver and position himself well against the terrorists, and of course the terrorists have to try to find McClane, hold the hostages, and do the actual plot that they want to do. Nonetheless, it is also pretty cool to see the degradation of the tower throughout the movie, Seeing stuff get blown up, see unused spaces used as battlegrounds, and just see explosions throughout the tower, or at least in random floors of the tower, is pretty cool. I mean, pure 80s action. Right on, so I guess the last thing, well, second to last thing I will truly talk about or go over, the movie itself, the story. I'll try to be really brief because it's a pretty simple one, so spoilers in general. If you want to get out here before that, here's a timestamp that you can go to where I'll probably talk about the Blu-ray menu last, so there's that. So if you're not gonna click it, let's go. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward in general, and there's some themes that encapsulate this, but I'll talk about that in the end. So, John McClane is coming to LA from New York since he was invited unwittingly to a party. He thought he was just gonna meet up with his wife, but no, he's actually invited to a party, and he also wants to salvage his marriage. And during that time, the terrorists, with Hans Gruber leading the team of 12 or so terrorists, make it seem like it's a terroristic plot, but you get hints throughout the movie that he's actually bullshitting that part and wants to get money, specifically bonds that the company have in their vaults. McClane navigates the maze that is Nakatomi Tower, takes out a fair amount of terrorists, basically all of them, while Hans Gruber tries to go ahead with his plan. Yeah, it comes down to that final confrontation, and I want to say it's the floor where the hostages were at. I'm not sure. The floor is just degraded to the point that it's just unrecognizable, but yeah. John McClane saves everyone, his marriage is saved as well, so yeah, plot foiled. Now, there are also mini arcs that are within this movie, like Argyle. Well, he's basically the driver to John McClane. He's there to either escort both of them to their house, or if John fails to get Holly with him, Argyle will take him to a hotel. Then we got Sergeant Al Johnson. We learned that he's a desk jockey that used to roam around the
city patrol basically, but he had an incident where he shot a kid, so he doesn't want to do that again, but he is forced to confront one last baddie near the end of the movie, and yeah, he actually uses his gun and, like I said, overcomes this trauma. And then we actually have a subplot with the terrorists, specifically the Verskis. Of course, we see McClane take out Tony Versky, the first terrorist to be killed by McClane, and once Carl, the big boy, the big brother, learns about that, he goes on his own personal vendetta to take out John. He defies orders from Hans, he even takes on John himself, and ironically is the last terrorist to die.
And then we have Richard, the news reporter. He uses some underhanded tactics to get his information, uses some intimidation, and gets his just desserts at the end of the film. All that for his big break.
Very, very cool, and for those themes, like the main one is redemption through violence. Of course, Carl Versky trying to avenge his little brother's death, and Al Johnston using that gun to kill Carl.
John McClane, of course, his actions go under this too.
There's the duality of masculinity and vulnerability, as mainly seen by John McClane. Then you can say there's the theme of American values trumping foreign values, because the terrorists died and the Americans lived. God bless. There's also some anti-establishment / government type message theme. I mean, shit, when the FBI shows up, they are fucking useless. They unwittingly help the terrorists by cutting off the power, which is what they need to access the safe. Moreover, when they tried to take out the terrorists at the helipad, they didn't do that and they got caught in the explosion rigged by the terrorists. That's funny.
Fucking feds, am I right?
And there you go. That is Die Hard. So, all very cool. Pretty good movie. Hopefully y'all check it out. And yeah, if you do, maybe you can watch a series. So there's that. I don't know if I'll make other videos on the Die Hard series. I mean, it'll be funny to do the series and then end off in that commercial. I don't know if you remember the Die Hard battery commercial. I mean, I don't know if it's actually inspired by, or that name was inspired by the movies, but that's an actual brand. I haven't really seen it in a long time, but I haven't really been shopping for car batteries. Nonetheless, yeah, I'll talk about that if I do get around to it. So, yeah. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker, and welcome to the party if you actually do decide to, well, I don't know, watch the Die Hard movies. So, yeah. Merry Christmas Eve. Hopefully it'll actually come out on Christmas Eve. And yeah, y'all have a good one.
I would also like to say rest in peace to these actors. Alexander Godunov, who played Carl Versky, James 𝐂𝐀𝐏, who played as Joseph Takagi, and Alan Rickman, of course, who played Hans Gruber. Of course, they died long, long ago, but I would still like to say my condolences, and also prayers to Bruce Willis, as his dementia is getting worse, and he's under full-time care, hospice care if you want to call it. Nonetheless, bless their souls.
Yeah, I know it's weird to put a tribute to all the actors, but, you know, I really like this movie. It's one of the first action movies that I've ever seen, and yeah, Bruce Willis as well. I wish the best for him. He is, of course, my first action hero that I ever saw, so there's that. It's kind of rough seeing him like this. But don't worry, next video is going to be a much more lighthearted video, so there's that. It's My Little Pony related, so look forward to that, and I'll see you in the next one, or whatever video.
But if you really hold me tight all the way